Well, overall, Dr. Dermot Hayes at Iowa State University estimates that the tariff wars with China alone has cost U.S. pork producers about $1 billion, or $8 a head of every hog that we produce. Well, it all depends upon the size and scale of your production, but $8 a head, if you're looking at live prices today, hogs are about $48, 100 weight live weight, or probably in the neighborhood of $70 lean carcass weight. But just take $8 a head and multiply it by whatever the production is on your farm that you sell and market annually a year. And so that goes from very small producers that might be marketing hundreds of hogs to the very largest of them that are doing hundreds of thousands of hogs times $8. It's real money. In the mid-90s, the United States was a net importer of pork. Today, we export about 26 to 27% of the pork that we produce. So we've gone from being a net importer to actually exporting over a quarter of our production. So 1 out of every 4 hogs that we produce here is going to a foreign market. So it's been a very substantial change, and we see that trend line continuing. I would not be surprised if a few years from now for exporting a third of our production. The rising incomes in the developing world, they want more protein in their diets, and in many of those markets, pork is the preferred protein. Pork is the protein of choice around the world today, and we hope it stays that way. Well, we certainly hope it's a short-term blip, but it's starting to drag on now for a couple of years here. There were a couple dimensions to this. We had tariffs with Mexico and retaliatory tariffs from Mexico. We've got those resolved. We've got the new agreement, the new NAFTA, if you will, USMCA, and we're hopeful that that gets ratified. And that will pretty much put us back where we were under NAFTA in a good position with our trading partners with Canada and Mexico, Mexico is our largest customer for pork by volume. Japan is our most important market by value. So the administration is on the verge of finalizing a new bilateral with Japan on agricultural products, and so we're hopeful that that gets resolved and gets peace back in that market and puts us back on level footing. Right now, the European Union and other competitors, Canada and Mexico, have an advantage over the U.S. in Japan, and we're hopeful we'll get back on a level playing field there. And then the big one is China, obviously, and that seems to be the thorniest and most contentious trade issue. 1.3 billion people that over-index for pork, and their domestic pork supply is collapsing because of African swine fever. It's a huge marketing opportunity for U.S., and we'd like to have a seat at that table and having a direct sale. Until we get these tariffs out of the way, though, we're kind of the supplier of last resort and kind of getting the crumbs on the floor instead of a full plate at the table. Well, in general, the farm community has been very supportive of President Trump. There's a lot of variation in that spectrum. You have to talk to individual farmers and get their own particular views, but I would say that they are generally patient and are willing to give him time to resolve some of these things, but the longer it goes on, their patience wears thinner, and it starts cutting into the pocketbook in a significant way. Some of them will start to re-examine where they want to place their bets. But I think his base is still strong in the agricultural community, but the longer this goes on, the more it gets frayed.